That brings me to the next one is what I found interesting with you was that because when I do some sort of research about people that do out of body experiences or have them, usually it all revolves around sleep. Usually it's some sort of wake back to bed method where they're maybe after 6 hours and then they start their practice. That seems to be common, at least from what I've seen. And then with you, it seemed different that you have it from like the waking conscious perspective, where I guess sometime throughout the day, or it's not necessarily revolving around your sleep. I guess is that correct? And could you talk about that?
Yeah, it's totally correct. I hardly ever, we're talking probably less than 1% of my experiences are from a sleep state.
Mm,
Um, so I think a lot of that's to do with the internet age, to be honest. I think
mm,
when I was getting into OBEs pre-internet, there the majority of people were doing it from a waking state. They weren't using uh, sleep methods. And even if you look at a lot of the sort of older or the authors who've been around a bit longer, William Bjorman, for example,
mm,
uses Off-BL's Little method. That was how he induced his first experience. And as far as I know, that's how he still induces his experiences. So that's not a sleep-based method.
mm,
And a lot of methods of different authors out there are conscious based. But I think what's happened with the advent of the internet, um, lucid dreaming has sort of come to the fore as a, I guess, as a kind of shortcut method, as a kind of for people to go, and it's become a sort of popular methodology. I I think it's a double-edged sword. I think lucid dreaming can be a good launch pad for OBEs, and it's definitely one method that I advise and teach people. I always also tell them that the downside is that it's probably going to be less objective, and you're going to have a higher likelihood that the dream will have an influence on the consistency and objectivity of the experience, because your consciousness will still be in a semi groggy sleep type state.
mm.
So it can be easier to get there that route, but the quality of the experience might not be as objective. So it's a kind of weighing up the benefits and the pluses and minuses, if you like. So yeah, I had my first spontaneous out of body experiences from a just a relaxed waking state, and then I also the only technique that I came across as a teenager was a waking state method, so I used that. And then a lot of the research at the time, there was Gabbard and Trammell, I think is the name of the scientist, did a study, and at that time, when they asked many people what kind of state they were in when they had their out of body experiences, it was in the region of 70% of people were having their out of body experiences from a waking state. So I think that might even still be the case. I don't know of a recent study looking at that particular element. There's a researcher called Carlos Alvarado. He is probably the leading researcher looking at the phenomenology and the details of what happens when someone has an out of body experience. He might have looked at that more recently, but basically, I think it's possibly true that people are more likely to have an OBE actually from a waking state than from a dreaming state. But it's just that it's become popular in the realm of methodology and things like that. So I think it's an internet thing in short.